What is happening, guys? Mike here. Welcome back to the channel for another product review. Today we are taking a look at a brand called the Apothecary Malaysia, which is a homebrewing brand out of, you guessed it, Wisconsin. All right, it's obviously Malaysia. That probably wasn't a very good joke, but obviously it's Malaysia, which is really cool for me actually because I love looking at brands from outside the United States. It's always nice to see what you guys in other parts of the world are making and putting together, and it's a lot of fun to check that out. So today we are going to dive into this brand, talk about all their offerings, get all the good information, everything that you guys need to know to get a good firm look at this brand. This is my review of the Apothecary Malaysia. All right, so the Apothecary Malaysia. This is a cool little brand that recently emailed me for review, and after looking over their site and their lineup, I thought for sure it would make for a cool review. Their lineup is fairly small, so we only have a couple of things to look at today, but that's not really a bad thing at all. In fact, some of the strongest performing lines, in my opinion, are the ones that only have a couple of products. So let's go get a closer look at this line and then some specs. Here we go. Coming across my desk today is the Solid Cologne Collection and Analogue Paste from the Apothecary Malaysia. According to the brand, the Analogue Paste is the brainchild of 3 different labels looking to create the perfect hairstyling paste. Hold-wise, we're looking at a strong hold made from 3 different waxes, and it is, of course, water-soluble. Price-wise, we're looking at 4 ounces for about $17.95 in US dollars, converted over from the Malaysian ringgit. Looking inside the tin jar, is it a can? I'm not sure what to call this thing here, but looking inside it, we got, well, a paste. It scoops out nice and creamy, no resistance at all on that end, but breaking it down, to me, it has more in common with a lotion-like cream than a paste. Now, real quick before we jump into the demo here, I just gotta point this out. Has anyone else noticed that brands outside the US always seem to have the coolest packaging? I mean, seriously, in a community that's filled with 4-ounce amber glass jars, stuff like this right here really stands out. I still don't quite know whether this is like a can or a tin, but you know, whatever it is, I like it. And as you saw a second ago, they also offer these really nice solid colognes. These are super nice. They're different colors. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of dark in here, but they're different colors. They're nicely sized. And then these boxes, seriously, these boxes are beautiful. They are so nice. You know, they're very simply made. They're just cardboard, but it's a really nice touch, and that's my point. They put a lot of effort into their packaging, and that's something that I really enjoy. But moving back over to the Analogue Paste here, this is one that I tested out as usual in multiple fashions, and for me, there was really only one that worked out well enough to mention here in this video, and that was dry hair. But also, I have to mention that this one was a bit different than some of the other products that we've seen here lately on the channel, because for this demo I only had to use 1 scoop. That's right, 1 scoop on dry hair, and I was probably just as surprised as you are right now that only 1 scoop was needed, but let's take a look at why that is. See, what we got here is a nice smooth product in the hand, but a nice sticky presence that sets in when you put it in your hair. On top of that, we got some major control in the form of a nourishing dampening effect that is also immediately taking place on top of that stickiness. And when you bring that all together, what we got here is both hold and control, and both of those things are in abundance. So for me, 1 scoop was all that was needed to style. And as far as combing goes, the regular comb will work, but it's a bit too dry for my liking, so I broke out the Big Daddy wide tooth comb, and it just runs through there like a hot cleaver through butter. Now, I did think that that style was pretty good, especially because I only needed the 1 scoop like we talked about, but I am going to save final thoughts on the products for the end of the video because now I am prepared to show you the endurance test for our 1 scoop wonder. At 4 hours in, we can see the biggest change is right there in front where it's no longer nice tight comb lines, it's a bit loose in the style. It is pretty much together though, and that continues on at 8 hours where it looks like it's just loosened up a bit more, and as I begin restyling here, I just wanted to point out another piece here, and that's how it's exaggerating my slight wave on the top of my head. Instead of taming it like most products do, it is kind of allowing it to just do its own thing there, but overall I do think that the style looks pretty good. Now, I'm very sorry to you damp hair guys out there, but I chose not to demo this one on damp hair because I really just thought it wasn't worth it in this case. The product on dry hair makes it look damp for one, but on top of that, it also just didn't perform the way I wanted to. On dry hair, it allows for that volume when styling and without hardening that you get on damp hair. Obviously, it hardens up a lot, but beyond that, it was just performance related things that led me to this decision, because on the damp hair, I had to use more product, which resulted in more grip, which made it harder to style with, so I ended up with less volume, a less desirable style, and a ton of hardening. So really, in the end, this one just wasn't a contender for damp hair styling. As far as the washout goes for this one, I think about 90 to 95% comes out with water. So pretty much all that feeling of wax or dryness goes completely away with just the water. But I do think some of the oils inside the product remain in your hair after rinsing, but in the end, one shampoo just pulled it all the way, so it really wasn't a big deal for me. As far as the scents go, let me tell you, I got a lot to say on this subject. This right here is heaven for a guy like me. Seriously, heaven. My allergies prevent me from enjoying a lot of fragrances. It just really chokes me up on a lot of brands out there these days, but these guys have some brilliant fragrances, which also transfers over to the solid colognes because these are actually made in the same fashion. Let's take a second and focus on these solid colognes. First off, this packaging is fantastic. Second of all, every one of these 3 scents is designed so well, it's unreal. I seriously have never met a solid cologne that didn't make me choke up at all and just hate life. And here I've got 3 that, no lie, do not aggravate my allergies at all. Looking at all 3 of them side by side, I think I would have to say my favorite, I have 2 favorites. I can't choose between these 2, the Omni and the Colossus. The Colossus has only, looks like about 6 notes to it: neroli, citrus, peach, nutmeg, amber, and musk. And the Omni, which is actually the same, same fragrance as the Analogue paste here, that has bergamot, basil, blackcurrant, leather rose, birch, vetiver, cedarwood, and musk. Now the price on these is pretty good too, in my opinion. I think they're very conservative. They're around $17.95 US when you convert it from Malaysia to US dollars, and they're going to last you forever depending on how much you use. But going back over to the paste now, I think this one did fairly well as well. I do like it. I think it's styled pretty good. For the hold though, I don't think for me it quite equaled a strong hold or even a firm hold. For me, it was kind of a medium for sure, and it had a good helping of shine in there too, which isn't a bad thing, but for the sake of describing, I just wanted to mention that to you guys. Now, as far as comparisons go, I've been really having a hard time with this one because immediately 2 products came to mind: the Grey Ghost and the cream from Grim Grease. The way I describe it is I think it's a bit like both of those products in a few different ways. So I guess you could say this is what you would get if the Grey Ghost and the Grim Cream got together and did a little emulsifying, and then they had a little, you know, love baby. I think for sure this is the love child of those 2 products, and it's got little things from each, and I think it also for sure makes this one unique. I do also think it's somewhat like the hybrid from Stickmore, but this one had a little more hold, so as usual, the comparison there doesn't quite hold up. If you would like to check out any of the products here from the Apothecary Malaysia, a link and a nice little 20% off coupon will be in the description down there for you guys if you're interested. But that's pretty much it for the review for today. That's all I got for you on this one. But before we close out this episode, I do real quick want to acknowledge one of you guys in this review's subscriber spotlight. Today the spotlight is on Jordan Domine, aka Slickback Sunday on Instagram, and his messy pomp, courtesy of the Belafonte by Sheer Revival and Flagship. A big thank you to Jordan for sending that in. Hopefully I didn't butcher your last name too much, but I think we can all agree that style looks awesome, and I always enjoy looking at your Instagram, so if you guys want to check that out, he posts a lot of awesome stuff there. And if you guys want to be featured in a future episode, I do need more photos right now, so send those in if you want to be featured. Instructions on how to do that are in the description down there. So check that out if you want to be featured, and of course, it all starts with subscribing to the channel, so if you haven't yet clicked that button, you definitely need to do that. There's no other way around it. And of course, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that like button for me as well. And I think that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today and checking out this review. I will, of course, be back with you guys again right here very soon. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.